Hey y'all, Griff Spiker here. Heading out on Saturday's ride from Revzilla's Get On ADV Fest. It's a gorgeous day. Temps are going to be a little warm though. Temps are climbing. It's already in the 70s. And it's just going to get warmer. Tomorrow they've upped the high to pushing triple digits. So definitely going to be warm for the ride homeward, eventually anyway. But yeah, there's the CF Moto truck and booth, Pan America booth, Harleys. And yeah, Robert's with me again today. He's doing fantastic. He's actually kicking around, stepping up tomorrow, or yet today. Today's route is relatively short. It's only about 2.5 hours. We're kicking around, maybe doing the intro to intermediate after it, just to get a little more riding in. I don't know, I may do that. I may run down and do Black Hills stuff. It's nice not having to plan routes, just be able to follow a route line. But been some challenges. I've actually had a conversation with the Rever guys about a couple of things. Sort of defects. Not really defects, just challenges with their app. Nothing major, just little stuff. Little stuff that I think should be reasonable to fix, or you'd think they would be anyway. But, you know, they appreciate the feedback, and it's really cool. I've gotten to talk to a lot of people, to most everybody that I've wanted to visit with that's here. There's one or two others I wouldn't mind getting a chance to shoot the breeze with a little bit. And just, you know, general, just talking to people. Met a lot of nice people. It's been a very friendly group. Last night there was a presentation from the Biltwell guys on their Alaska adventure from last year. Quite different from mine. They ferried up. Some of them rode to the top. Only 2 of them made it to Prudhoe Bay. The rest ended up not making it much past Coldfoot, or not past Coldfoot. But they had much worse road conditions than we did from the sounds of it. But they had a good time with it. There was also Rally for Rangers presentation video. It's an award-winning documentary thing. Really an excellent cause. If you haven't looked into it, I would recommend it. They basically provide small dual sport motorcycles for park rangers in various countries. It initially started with Mongolia, but they've gone to a lot of other countries now. The initial park was like a 150,000 acre park with 15 rangers, and as a result they were having major poaching problems, people doing things they shouldn't be, and this group was formed to provide them with reliable motorcycles. Well, one of the guys that was involved, that's heavily involved, that was actually kind of the founder of the group, was there. He saw a guy take off to try and intercept some people that were driving out onto a beach, essentially, they weren't supposed to be on, and hit a wash, and his bike basically disassembled itself because it was in such rough condition. And he's like, you know what, I'm going to go home, I'm going to buy the guy a bike, and he can get started. Get that, and from that it sprung up. The first year they brought in 15 bikes. They've been going for a number of years now, and they've done it to, I think, 12 or 15 countries, and they're raising money to continue doing more. I was able to give a nice small donation, but a donation to them. And yeah, tonight they're releasing the Black Hills BDRX, more accurately. So it's a loop as opposed to being a south to north or north to south type of loop route, as most BDRs are. Beyond that, it's just been hanging out a lot. Like I said, I demoed the Pan Am yesterday. and getting to meet some new people. It's really crazy. The father and son that were with us yesterday, and they're camped just across this dry creek from us, from Robert and myself. And Robert just randomly plopped his tent near mine, basically next door. These guys randomly are across the ditch from me, and they noticed my license plate was an Iowa. The son noticed that my license plate was an Iowa plate. The dad's like, well, hell, it's Winnebago County, which is where I live. He goes, that's like 10 minutes from where I grew up. Turns out the dad knew my mother-in-law and father-in-law, was friends with my father-in-law in high school. Yeah, so it's pretty wild, just completely random. They end up camping within 20 yards of me. Rode with them yesterday some, and visited with them regularly throughout the weekend so far. It's been great. So just random, and then, like I said, I've talked to some other guys, had multiple interactions with the Revzilla guys. They've been fantastic. Well, Revzilla or Cycle Gear as well, Rever. They're all under the same parent company. They were all bought in. All of them have been essentially bought by one company at this point, and they run everything. But the one guy who's kind of in charge of the event overall is fairly high up in Cycle Gear, and I had a chance to visit with him on the first night and again last night for a little bit. Really good guy. Yeah, so it's been cool. Definitely an event I'm going to be coming back to next year if I can get it past, get approval from my wife. In our talk earlier this week, I'm pretty sure she was okay with it. So we'll see. There's other things I would like to do next year as well. So it may be a prioritization situation. All right, first off-road section of the day, or off-pavement section of the day. Robert took the lead for a bit, just went through a nasty wash. I wish I'd had the camera going, but I'm probably pretty glad I didn't, because I would embarrass myself the way I handled it. But I made it through, and we went through a really gnarly bit. The other gentlemen that were with us yesterday made the right choice for them. Kevin, it was a nasty little piece of business. He would have had problems with it with the tires that he has. He would have struggled, and they made the right call. They're doing the pavement route today, and that was, I think, a very smart decision for him. Robert and I both do. It was fun, don't get me wrong, but it was definitely a challenging little piece of work. Especially for a couple guys on a couple of pigs. I mean, he's on a GSA 1250, so if he's got a full tank of gas, he's carrying like 8-9 gallons. Thing's a frickin' tanker truck. Man, this is beautiful country. Holy buckets. He's having a good time. Hell of a rider. He hasn't done a lot of off-road, and he did freaking awesome. I let him go by me because he was a lot faster than I was. So I'm rolling solo now. Robert opted to go back to the campground. We were near the end of the route, basically on pavement from there on, from the way it looked. And it was kind of a decision point for me of it's 385. We were on 385, turning on 385, which anybody that knows the Black Hills knows that 385 is the road that goes from Deadwood all the way down to Hill City, basically. Keystone. So you basically, if you want to do Rushmore and Iron Mountain Road, Needles, that stuff, it's the road that you're going to take. So I'm like, you know what? I can go back to camp, which was, 30 minutes or so. Or I could turn south and head to those and do pavement section. So I'm doing pavement section. Robert wanted to head back, so he headed back to camp. He was going to do some demos and, I don't know, maybe do intro to easy or something, or intro to intermediate or something like that this afternoon. So I felt like I've had enough of off-road for this trip. It was a very, very, very challenging for easy section. There were some pretty gnarly little bits in there. Bactola Reservoir. Riding across the dam at the moment. Woohoo! Iron Mountain Road, finally. Behind some folks, but that's absolutely inevitable on this road. It is high traffic. It is a Saturday. What do you do? That's all right. Still a beautiful ride. Oh, I am a bit worn out after that easy route this morning. It was short, but it was very challenging for an easy route. Pigtail Bridge number 1. It's funny, the first time my wife rode this a couple years ago, she was so psyched out. She just had herself all worked up about them. And we got through it, she's like, that was it? That wasn't so bad. I'm like, yeah, I know, honey. It's kind of not much worse than a lot of the stuff around home. And it's just a beautiful ride. This is one of my favorite loops to do, is Iron Mountain Road, Needles Highway, down into the Wildlife Loop. If I'm out in the Black Hills and don't do these, it's very rare. I didn't last year as we were going through just because we didn't have time to take a couple hours to go and do it. Where'd that vehicle go? There we go, the fun part. The fun part! Pigtail Bridge number 2. Pigtail Bridge number 3. Love the corkscrew. So much fun. Before long, we'll be hitting the first of the tunnels, and hopefully we'll have a good enough view to be able to see Mount Rushmore from there today. Typically you can, but with all the Canadian wildfire smoke that we've had in the last few months, I don't know. I would assume we'll be able to still. Hopefully it'll come through on video. There's Rushmore behind us, so I'm going the wrong way. I'll have to come back and do it the other way again. Oh, darn. And I might have gotten it on this one. We'll see. Another pigtail bridge, followed by a tunnel. Nobody coming this time. There's Mount Rushmore. Woo-hoo-hoo. I don't know that they realized they were pulling over for you, what they did. That wasn't really why they did, but I'll take it. Oh, man, it feels good to get out and ride, put some miles on, hit some great roads. I'm fairly certain that by the time I get home on Monday, I will have met that 150,000 mile mark in the last 15 years. And Tuesday is the 15th anniversary of purchasing my first motorcycle as an adult. So it's kind of a milestone for me. And the fact that I will have averaged for 15 years, 10,000 miles, that's pretty good. Just considering there were some years in there that I didn't put that many miles on. And my first 3 years owning the bike, I think I put on 12,000 miles. And since then, I've put on 138,000 in the last 12. Now, granted, there were trips like last year. Well, there's only been one trip like last year, but there were a number of large trips in there, 4,000 or 5,000 mile trips. Last year's was almost 10,000 on its own. But yeah, it's a pretty big milestone. I'm pretty proud of that. Now, there are a lot of guys and gals that ride more than I do. They have the ability or the time or the budget or whatever that allows them to. I have limitations. I've got a job, I've got a wife, I've got a house. I've got a good job, but I'm only making so much money, and it's not like this channel's making any money at this point. I'm too small to be monetized. Hopefully someday I am. Not that I ever suspect I will have it as a substantial income stream by any means, but it'd be nice to be able to get a little bit back out of it at some point. But I'm really not doing this to make money. I'm doing this for fun. I really enjoy doing what I'm doing, documenting my life a little bit. I don't know why I think people should be interested or care, but I document my hobby, and I love riding. It's just one of my absolute passions in life, and I've gotten to meet some really, really cool people over the years as a result of it. Made some of the closest friends in my life because of motorcycles. I'm very fortunate to have a wife who also rides a motorcycle, but that also means that I've got more motorcycles to keep on the road and maintained and So many people are so courteous on these roads. They're going to get over and let you by for the most part. There's occasionally people that don't. Well, small change of plans. I stopped at the Iron Mountain Road Visitor Center campground thing. and found a major nut missing off of my bike. So I'm turned around and heading back the other way on Iron Mountain Road, which I plan on doing it again, but I plan on going to Custer and Needles first. But I think I better get back up north and hopefully catch the Yamaha shop while they're still open, because the nut on top of my triple tree clamps, basically holding the steering spindle through the frame, is gone. So I need to go see if I can find one, or find a nut that will be appropriate. If they don't have one in stock, maybe they'll be able to tell me the size that I can go to a hardware store and find, potentially. Hopefully. I really don't want to have to ride all the way home with that stem bolt missing, the steering stem bolt missing, or nut missing. Just doesn't seem very safe. I don't know how long it's been missing. Hopefully not too long. Fortunately, there is a Yamaha and BMW shop in Sturgis. So I just have to get my butt back up there in time, and it's 12:30 local time. It'll be about 1:30 or so when I get up there, and I'm hoping they're open till at least 2. It is a Saturday, so they may close earlier. God, I hope not, though. If they do, I'll have to do some research online, see if I can figure out what the size is, and see if I can find one at the local hardware store. There's Mount Rushmore. Rushmore's behind me now. Pigtail Bridge number 1 going back down this way.